Welkom by die Kelder Klas Podcast met my, JP Quickelberge. Hier kry ek klas met klas. Ek wil net dankie sê aan ons borge, A-Square Forklift, Mercedes-Benz Parel, Hello Bril, Kingsley Heath, Fly Saf Air, Avondale Wines, Provincial Logistics, Creatory en Wine Q&A. Sonder hulle is hierdie program nie moontlik nie. Luister hierdie podcast op 'n platform van jou keuse of kyk dit op YouTube. Kelder Klas, Vrydag om 5:00 net op via kanaal 147 DStv. Ons hier by Avondale, episode 5, een van episode 5 se plase saam met Jonathan. Jy is eienaar, wynmaker, wat is dit?
Ja, ek is nie wynmaker, maar ek is eienaar en viticulturist en bottle washer en al die ander goedes wat saam daai gaan, ja.
En ook man, jy is getroud. Ja,
dat is it.
Maar sê vir my, soos julle doen letterlik heavy biodiversity so.
Ja, so biodiversity is die onderste vlak, maar dan doen ons ook organies, so al ons wyn is certified organic, and then biodynamic. So biodynamic is all about energies and rhythms and how the stars and constellations influence our production. So a real holistic way of farming.
Hoe het julle besluit om dit te doen?
Ja, dat was evolution, as ek kan hom so sê. Ja, so ek het my familie het die plaas gekoop in 96. En ons het, dat was 'n konvensionele plaas. Ons eerste wyn as 'n familie gemaak op die plaas op 99. En ek het begin persoonlik op die plaas voltyd halfpad deur 99. But I was a artist. I trained as a fine artist. So I'm not a farmer by trade. And obviously first learned how to farm chemically and then sort of started asking questions and saying, look, yeah, why the chemicals? Why are we doing it this way? You know, it wasn't necessarily working as it was promised. And more importantly, there wasn't the life on the farm. So a living, you know, everybody talks about a living farm.
Yeah.
Well, there was no life. You know, there was maybe 1 or 2 guinea fowls and that was about it.
And is it?
So that started the question and the evolution of actually saying, look, yeah, how do we do it naturally? How do we get that in? And then more importantly, coupled with the wines, and we used to make wines in a very show style, lots of gold stickers and awards and everything else that goes with, lots of oak. And we just really didn't enjoy those wines as a family, and more importantly, it's generic. It doesn't express where it comes from.
So dit alles dieselfde geproe aan.
That's right. And it actually came from a conversation that we had after a double gold tasting, which a whole of our wines had won double gold, and we were like, okay, well, those were like quite showy, but we really didn't enjoy it. And that sort of progressed that journey of going more naturally, going more along, cutting out, getting life back onto the farm. And the total view behind it is to create wines with a true address, if you like.
Yeah.
You know, a true essence of where they come from.
Dis eintlik 'n baie cool ding wat jy daar so sê is om 'n huis en 'n adres te skep, want soos wat jy sê, baie van die wyne probeer dieselfde.
Ja. So dis presies dit. I mean, elke ding wat jy doen chemies in die wingerd of in die kelder, as jy goed is byvoeg in die wyn, etc. Alles daai goed is wat jy byvoeg in die insette op die plaas is beskikbaar vir almal in die wêreld. So wat maak jou uniek? It doesn't work that way. If you're doing it naturally and you're farming naturally and you're working with your natural environment and your soils and your space in the sun, throughout that whole process. So not just in the vineyard, obviously it starts in the vineyard and really getting the balance there, the living system, etc. Then coming into the cellar and taking that through. So, you know, not adding anything, using natural ferments, really slow natural winemaking processes. And really with the idea to have the grape being the star of the show. So really creating that grape-driven wine. So not necessarily fruity, but of course it has fruit, but not necessarily fruity, but lots of layers and structure, elegant wines.
So jy het letterlik Mother Nature gevat as 'n artist, want jy het background artist, jy het gesê luister, okay, cool. hier is jou blank canvas, jy doen wat jy moet doen en jy het al daai elemente uitgehaal wat actually 'n invloed het om die wyn mediocre te maak.
That's precies that. And you know, we often talk about extraordinary wines approved by Mother Nature. So everything that we're trying to do needs, you know, Mother Nature's thumbprint on it and saying, okay, well, this is creating life. This is creating a living system and really adding to that. I like to say vibrancy. You know, there's an energy around Avondale. There's an energy here when you come here. Either it's relaxing or it's just, you can really soak it up. You know? Exactly. And you see that in the life. You see that in the food that we produce, in the wines, obviously, that we produce as well.
Ons het net nou gechat daaroor, soos jou attention to detail hier by Avondale is, jy kan dit definitief sien, van die bottleneck, ons het net gepraat oor die bottleneck, maar in die kombuis, alles is, julle attention to detail, maar om dit natuurlik te doen, is prioriteit hierso.
Yeah, I think obviously the devil's in the detail.
Ja,
so as jy wil 'n top produk maak, moet jy allerlei verskillende vlakke kyk en natuurlik as jy probeer om ordentlik sustainable te wees. And of course, sustainability is this, you know, they say it's a new catchword. We've been doing it for 20 years, but nonetheless, the devil's in the detail. You need to look at what you're doing from the soil up, from the microbes up, from, you know, everything on the farm. And then obviously our story going through how we package the bottles, what bottles we use, the weight of the bottle, the closure of the bottle, etc., etc. And of course, into the farm experience. So when you come and enjoy the wines at Avondale, you know, if you just do our normal tasting through to eco wine safari where you can actually go out on the farm and see what's happening, through to coming and enjoying a beautiful meal at Faber. You know, I mean, Faber is our restaurant, so that's a whole field to fork restaurant, and we produce as much as we can on our farm and from our vegetable gardens and so on, and fresh, you know, fresh and ingredient driven. It's the same as our wines. You know, it's driven by the grape, not driven by how much whatever we put into it.
Maar ek wil vir daai vraag vra. Almal hamer altyd op, Here, dit is moeilik en baie duur om organies te eet en organies te. Hoe duur en wat is die challenge om actually van organies na of te gaan van 'n trokkie wat elke dag julle groente kom aflaai en julle goedjies en julle eiers kom aflaai na organies te boer? Is dit baie duurder en is dit meer challenging?
Ek dink dat is 'n bietjie, miskien 'n bietjie meer challenging, want jy moet deur die hele proses dink. You know, it's not like convenience. You go down to a store down the road and buy what you need and off you come.
Jy moet beplan.
Jy moet beplan rondom dit en jy onthou net as jy wil groente hê, dis 'n paar maande se beplanning. Jy weet, and then of course the other exactly, very seasonal and very you know, either you don't have something or you have way too much of it, and then you have to get inventive about what you actually do with it, which is the fun part. But as far as the difficult, you know, to actually farm this way, I don't believe, you know, you'll always find an excuse not to do something, and that's very often an excuse not to do it. But it's not.
Die beste excuse vir vandag is môre.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no reason why you can't do it. I can tell you, and if you speak to any of our chefs or you speak to Dale, our head chef, he will tell you that the crops and the fruit and the stuff that comes off the farm tastes completely different to stuff that we would have to buy in. It's just the flavors, the obviously the freshness because we're harvesting it right here and using it, but also the flavors. So the nutrient density, the flavor, the food, and of course then the food. And it's the same with our wines. I mean, the grapes that are coming in, the flavors that come with that, the elegance that come with it, and obviously with a wine you have the possibility to make the wine and then age it and then lay it down, you know, so you can really see how it develops and see how it ages and really enjoy that.
Maar dit is so basies as mense by die huis wil weet hoe proe organiese kos saam met organiese wyn, dan kom hulle Avondale toe, want dis basies Mother Nature's showroom hierdie, want dit is basies wat hulle doen.
Absolutely.
Ek gaan vir ons nog wyn praat verskriklik baie.
No, absolutely. I think that is exactly it. It's about just giving, I guess, nature a platform to talk.
Natuurlijk.
And more importantly, coming back to the whole story, is to make sure that it's a unique experience. You know, I often say to people, And I share all that we do on the farm, how we farm, the biodynamics, how we make different ferments and spray different biodynamic preparations. And we share that through our website and through my blog. So all of that's there.
Blog ook?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Wat your blog?
So it's biologicwine.co.za.
Biologicwine.co.za.
Yeah, it's also a link from our website, but either or. And it's very much about experiencing the biodynamic calendar, different preparations that we make, and specifically practical sharing of knowledge.
Dis baie cool, want nou kan jy, as mense na jou blog gaan kyk, gee jy vir mense by die huis dan 'n tydperk wanneer wat om te plant en so voort.
Ja, van dit, maar dat is ook praktisch aan die feit van, je weet, biodynamics daar's baie, I don't know how to say it in Afrikaans, but have a really weird and wonderful methodology behind it, specifically preparations and ferments and timings that we use it for. And I share the knowledge of how we make them, what we use them for, and how we apply that. So it's a with time it'll be a encyclopedia, I guess, on how things are done. But the point that I wanted to make above that is if somebody goes there, reads up, does it, and does exactly the same thing on their farm or on their vegetable garden, they're going to have a different result.
In hulle agtertuin.
Exactly. Maar hulle sal 'n ander result hê, want dis 'n ander persoon wat dit doen, dis 'n ander plek, dis 'n ander grond.
Yes.
Exactly. So that's the hele ding. I mean, everything that we do is taking our spot in the sun with our soils and our environment and us, of course, very big part of it, all of us, and bringing that together in a very natural, cohesive sort of way, and producing wines, food, experience.
Maar dis baie waar wat jy sê, is soos baie keer, ek weet, dis nou nie heeltemal op die wyntopikie, maar dit skakel baie aan met wyn, want wyn word ook maar gegroei. Maar as jy jou klein groentetuintjie maak agter in by jou huis of wat ook al, jy hoef nie velde en velde te hê nie. Jy kan jou tomaties plant en jou spinasie en jou pompoen of wat ook al. En dit is, jy weet, jy het dit geplant, dit kom van jou tuin af en daar's min wat gedoen was aan daai tuintjie. Ja,
behalwe natuurlik as jy gaan en dan sit 'n hele klomp organophosphates en jy maak alles dood en dan eet jy die vrugte.
Ja,
that's then you know what's gone in there at least.
Maar jy gaan vir die mense kan tou wys maak as hulle jou blog gaan lees. Dit is wat jy, these are the do's and these are the don'ts.
Exactly.
Ja.
Exactly.
Maar ek wil ook raak aan julle design, soos jy het net genoem, jy's 'n kunstenaar gewees en jy het geswat daarvoor, nee.
Ja.
So that didn't pay off, and then you started wine, and then you made less money.
Yeah, exactly. So I think for me it was, I studied it for 3.5 years, and in my final year, halfway through it, firstly at Michaelis at UCT in Cape Town, and then in a small art school in Woodstock called Foundation School of Art.
Okay, how did your parents take that?
Yeah, they've been amazing. They've been incredibly supportive all along.
Yeah.
Eventually, halfway through my final year, I went to them and I said to my dad, I said, look here, can I come farming because I think I'm drinking too much and I'm really bored.
Free stuff.
And I need to come do something else. So that's how I ended up on the farm. And very fortunate to do so.
Was it the easy transition? You like?
Yeah, I grew up when I was a youngster. I was probably 6 years old. We had a small holding, and I used to produce whole lots of vegetables, actually all organically.
So from a young age, this was your thing?
And I used to sell it to all my mom's friends. So that was like a small business on the side.
Side hustle.
So I was always, I guess, connected to the soil on one sort of.
But also sharing it with people that you know and people that you love.
That's it. Yeah. Exactly. So the transition to that was very easy. I think I would have struggled to carry on farming chemically. Because that was it didn't make sense, and I'm a very inquisitive person. I like to understand how things work, and of course I like to see something that's living.
You visually stimulate.
Exactly. When you suddenly look at it and you say, well, actually the soil is dead and there's nothing happening here, and there's no life, there's no bird life, there's no, all the things that go with that. There's nothing singing in the farm, and if anybody comes and visits and does the tours and so on, they will really feel the energy. I've had people traveling across the world. I meet up with them somewhere in Europe, and they'll say, I've been to Avondale. It's amazing. You can't understand. I arrived at the gate, and there was just this energy, and that's the point. Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to touch on. That is like it's such a friendly, welcoming vibe when you drive through the boom gates. The guy's friendly. He's like, please come in. No, and it's almost like someone from the farm. Yeah, it's not like just a company with a security person at the front gate. That's your first point of entry is the face, the smile, the please come in, the welcome, and then you stop here and like you say, it's buzzing. It's a buzzing energy dat die dag toe ons kom film het, toe ons Kelderklas kom film het hier so by julle. Ons het 'n bietjie swaar getrek daar. Maar dit was so lekker, dit is lekker warm, die son het geskyn, soos wat jy sê, voeltjies fluit, ek en jy het in die wingerd gestaan vir ons onderhoud, en jy kon, die grond tussen die wingerd was omgedol, dit het soos grond geryk, ek weet nie, kan 'n mens sê dit is soos ryk soos grond?
Ja, absoluut.
Want want jy kry partykeer iets ryk na niks. En daar
ryk soos niks of dit ryk soos chemies.
Yes,
so
dit ryk soos kloor, amper kloor tipe baar. En terwyl ek met jou gepraat het, dis soos ek het amper gesond gevoel terwyl ek weet dit klink stupid, maar
absolutely
gesond tussen die wingerd, die grond was omgedol, daar's beesies en daar's soos muggies gewees en dit het letterlik soos natuur gevoel.
Absolutely.
En dis vir my, dis iets wat vir my baie uitstaan van julle is soos that's sort of your thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you want a living vineyard, you want a living farm, and ultimately through that you'll get the balance and the fruit and the wines, of course, that comes through that, and the character, the expression. That's it. That's what we focus.
Maar julle is, omdat julle is ook baie met obviously met julle organies, maar jy is baie familiefas.
Absoluut.
Jou pa, almal is geïntegreer. Soos het jou pa en jou ma soos 'n groot hand in jou development van hierdie plaas?
Ek dink almal het op een kant hulle was ek dink die grootste ding is dat hulle was altyd baie ondersteunend. So they've always supported, even when a lot of people would have said what the hell are you doing type of scenario, they've always been supportive, and that's halfway there, that's the biggest thing. En hulle koop in dit ook, I mean, when you start seeing the results of it and you start seeing the life and you start hearing the birds, for argument's sake, then you suddenly realize, okay, there's something else. This has got a lot of legs to work with, en dis nie net my ouers, dis ook die res van my familie. Daar's 'n klomp van ons wat bly op die plaas en van ons kinders en so aan en so voort. So dis deel van dat is 'n familieplaas. Dis nie net a corporate, definitely not corporate environment, but not just my family, also the people who work for us, the staff, their families, and a lot of them work on the farm as well. So it's bringing that holistic approach to everything that we do.
Jy raak op die familie ding en dit is soos jou pa wat jou aancheer terwyl jy doen wat jy lief voor is 'n mens kan ook al die kuns sien wat hier so gehang word. Dit is soos is dit jou
Nee, daar's een of twee van hulle wat myne is, maar die meerderheid van my kunswerk sit in van my familie se huise as presente. Wanneer ek student was, dan moes ek, jy weet, waar kry ek Kersfees present?
Ek vir my adres gee.
So meerderheid van daai my werk sit in my familie se huise, een of twee in my huis en een of twee hier onder in die kelder. Maar dan is daar 'n klomp ander kunstenaars wat alles local, so alles South African. En ons cycle hulle dit. So it's an exhibit, a living exhibit as such, and we'll put different works up, and most of them are for sale as well. So people that come through.
So as jy nou toe kom, jy het 'n deli, jy het die proelokaal, jy het die restaurant, jy het die kuns.
Ons het 'n bike trail en die toere op die plaas.
So dit is letterlik 'n living breathing plaas hierdie.
Dis hy.
En so as jy 1 week gekom het en jy kom weer oor 'n paar maande, is daar ander kuns op die mure.
Dat sê, so die bounds is dieselfde, maar daar gaan ander kunste definitief op die
En
mure
menus,
wees.
hoe gereeld verander julle menus?
Ja, so die menus verander baie. I mean, ons sal doen, obviously very seasonal, so depending what's coming out of the vegetable garden will be picked in the morning, will be produced, and we will have probably about at least 2 or 3 menu changes, course changes during the week. So basically every week.
So yeah,
obviously there's a couple of favorites that you can't take off.
Nee, luister, wat het ons daai dag gehad met die vervulling van Kelder Klas? Ons het
ek kan nie onthou, was dit
ja, dit was soos 'n
well, okay, that was the risotto, not the risotto, it's a pasta, little
ja, dis die risotto, nie die risotto nie, die ravioli, maar
it was a venison, I think a venison ravioli.
Ek dink op 'n stadium het Leandi het sy gegrom vir Stefan toe hy sy laaste stukkie geëet het. Dit is unbelievable. Dit is soos en toe dit aankom toe dog ek regtig kan jy vir ons nie net nog ekstra gee nie, maar dit is so ryk en die reuk en die smaak is net okay, nou begin my mond te water, ek dink aan.
Ek dink is dieselfde met ons wyne, jy weet, die idee agter die kos is dat die ingredient is the star of the show.
Yeah.
So we're not trying to overwork it. If you're having a tomato, you know you're having a tomato, but it will be the best tomato.
The most flavoursome. Yeah.
And I think also with that, it's our food is Chef Dale is extremely talented to get that right and that flavors and everything right, but it's also not rich, so it's not a heavy dish. You're not it's full of flavor, but you're not gonna finish the meal and think, geez, I need to go sleep somewhere, you know, or I got indigestion. It's very light, full of flavor, and lots of layers and textures. And obviously, food and wine pairing, then it really plays.
Wat's jou gunsteling pairing in die restaurant?
Ja, hang af. Ons praat familie, maar my pa het sy 80ste verjaarsdag gehad op Sondag. Dat ons 'n groot party hier so gehad.
Ja.
En hy is baie lief vir jag, so ons het 'n klomp guineaval geskiet op die plaas.
Lekker.
My seun wat 12 jaar oud is en myself en die chef en my pa. En hy het 'n pastei uit dit uitgemaak. That was next level. I promise you do not understand how amazing it was. So
like en hy het dit self bewerk, so self alles fresh, alles vars.
Alles. Ja, so van start to finish.
Maar ek het nog nooit guineaval gehad nie. Ek het nog nooit
maar nog net lang tarantaal, maar jy moet hom ordentlik gaar maak en dit vat 'n tydjie en jy moet hom reg behandel, maar hy is baie lekker.
Is dit iets wat 'n mens of wat julle normaalweg dalk op die menu sal sit? So
ons omdat dit so goed was, ons beoog om dit op die menu te sit. Dat is definitief van tyd tot tyd wat ons sal op die menu wees. Maar dat is ook seisoenlik.
Ja,
jy weet, jy sal dit aan die wintertyd hê en dan somertyd gaan jy dit nie hê nie. Een ding wat nie seisoenlik is ons pumpkin fritters, so dit kom saam met ons bread board, if you like. As jy neersit, jy kry 'n bread board wat sourdough en pumpkin fritters. En daai kan ons nie afhaal. As ons dit van die menu afhaal, is
daar letterlik 'n riot buite. Dit is okay, so jy het 'n board met wat is dit? Wat is dit genoem? Pumpkin fritters is dit is nie poffertjies nie. Is dit poffertjies?
Ja, amper.
Yes, nou luister, ek bly die microfoon is nie op my maag nie, want my maag sal letterlik nou grom. Want dit is julle het al die lekker goeders op julle menu en gepair met 'n crazy lekker wyn. En soos is julle gereeld vrek besig hierso.
Ja, I mean, obviously dat is seisoenlik, so I mean, hierdie tyd van die jaar is wintertyd, so dis meer ons off-season, so te sê. Maar selfs nou is ons lekker besig, beslis oor die naweke en so aan. En dan die somertyd en daai tyd is 'n baie besig. Dan moet jy boek. Ja, dan moet jy boek. I mean, ons sal jou wegdraai as 'n plek beskikbaar is, maar daar is 'n moontlikheid dat daar gaan nie 'n tafel wees.
Ja, nee, maar anders sit jy in die parking lot.
Ja.
Nee, maar selfs hier soos enige plek waar jy sit hier binne, het jy 'n view van Parel. Dit dit is parelkoppies, daar is die taalmonument is net daar so.
Ja,
So
en Tafelberg kan jy sien, Simmonsberg kan jy sien, so jy het 'n uitstekende uitsig van hier af.
in wintertyd het jy kaggel.
Exactly.
Just like it. So julle is letterlik 'n all-round plaas. Soos
That's the idea. I mean, dis ook nie, jy weet wat ons wou gedoen het met die restaurant en met die plaas as 'n heel. I mean, ons wyn en wat ons offer is baie handcrafted and obviously organic and biodynamic and everything that goes with that. And it is pitched at there's a lot of effort that goes, as you can hear. So it's pitched more at the sort of upper end of the market, if you like.
Maar jy kry wat jy koop.
Exactly. So it's worth every cent that you're paying. And it's also that experience that comes through on all the things. Come here, and we've also pitched our restaurant. Of course, during summertime, you're going to have lots of tourism and so on. But it's not just for tourism. We love our locals. We want our locals to come and enjoy and sit down. And obviously, during COVID years and all of that really, I mean, our locals supported us right through it. And because we had invested in our locals, we were in a very good spot, and that won't change. We always look after our locals.
Ja, want julle weet presies hoe dit werk. Soos julle weet presies hoe om dit te approach, julle weet as jy kyk na die grond, you reap what you sow. Selfs soos in die local mark, you reap what you sow. As jy bemark in jou locals, gaan jou locals jou support deur dik en dun, selfs deur COVID.
Ja.
So ja. Maar luister, ons nou flip en lekker gesels. Ek hoop jy geniet julle insetsel van Kelder Klas.
Ja, ons kyk uit daarna.
Ja, dit gaan baie cool wees. En ja, cheers op nog 'n paar. Ons het al die bottel klaar gepraat.
Ek dink hy is, ja.
Ons het die bottel klaar gepraat. Cheers, Jonathan.
Cheers.
Dankie dat jy na hierdie episode van Kelder Klas Podcast geluister het. Vertel jou wynbuddies hiervan of drink daaroor.